Hi, Elle Ingalls here at pressure-free.com, and my earlier broadcast got interrupted because I had a great call with my friend in New Zealand. Bruce Ross is a leadership coach. He has something he's created called Flowpreneur. This is very cool for leaders and entrepreneurs. He's a leadership coach in New Zealand, and he and I are doing a training on March 2nd. It's going to be through Zoom, so you can go ahead and take a look at my feed. You'll see that. And I'd love to have you come in and meet Bruce. He is really an extraordinary person, and to be able to collaborate with him and do a collaboration all the way across the globe is really kind of exciting. So I hope you'll take a look and join us next week, March 2nd. It's 4:30 Eastern time. Let's get back to fear, though. So today my topic is fear, and I really want to address a couple things. I want to address what fear does to you in terms of the stress response, and I also want to share with you what happened. Sorry, I'm getting these messages. I'm really getting interrupted today. It's so crazy. So I also want to share. People use this phrase like to get you to elevate your business, elevate what you're trying to do in life. People will say, do it afraid. I believe it's not okay to do it afraid. And I want to share why. I want you to stop doing it afraid for a very important reason. And so let's dig into what fear does to you in terms of fight or flight and the stress response. So anytime we're afraid, our body is going to protect us from a true physical threat. That is the whole purpose of the stress response. So if you start to feel afraid, like let's say you're giving a sales talk and it's the first time you've ever done it. You're getting on the phone with someone, you're getting on a Zoom call, and you're feeling all of those nerves. So you're feeling nervous before any sort of public speaking. Public speaking, like 90% of people have fear about it. So let's take that as an example. You're feeling nervous. So what is it that you're experiencing? If you're brave enough to put things down below here, I'll see them ping in and I can address them. But do your hands get sweaty? Do you start sweating excessively? Do you have sweat on your forehead, sweat under your pits? Like what is happening to you? Does your mouth go dry? Do you have trouble focusing and all of a sudden you feel like your brain isn't working very well? These are all symptoms that you've triggered the stress response. When your palms get sweaty, your face turns red, your mouth is dry, you're forgetting things. Someone may ask you a question, you don't even answer it because you can't even really hear what they're saying. That is a sure sign that you've triggered fight or flight. It's completely natural. So being nervous and being afraid is completely natural. However, if you do it often and repeatedly, it's really harmful. It's not okay to keep doing it scared. It really isn't. And it's not okay to put yourself in situations where you're constantly going into that anxious mode. I've worked with a lot of athletes, and I remember being at a race once and watching a person go to the restroom within an hour's time 4 times. That's a sure sign that you've triggered fight or flight if you feel like you have to go to the bathroom a lot. So there are many signs that can tell you that you're triggering fight or flight too much. So I help you get out of it. And I want to give you some tips right up front here to help you with that. Before I give you those tips, though, I want to go into the immune system and feeling afraid. So I was having a discussion yesterday with someone, and they said, there's so much fear. Why does the media keep us in such fear? Well, because adrenaline is addictive, and if you get a little jolt when you watch the news, maybe you get angry watching the news, like you're going to keep watching, you're going to keep hooked to it. And so what's interesting about that is that let's get specific about what happens to the immune system when you are afraid. So there are 2 floods of hormones. The first flood, the adrenaline rush, or the catecholamines, I call it a cocktail, when those hormones go out, your immune system drops up to 90%, takes a little dip, right away. The part of the immune system that dips is called interferon gamma. It's been talked about quite a bit in the past year because that's your immune system's very first defense mechanism, is this particular, I think it's a protein, interferon gamma. Well, that dips up to 90% when you go into fight or flight. It comes back up, apparently, and then when there's the second release of hormones, the glucocorticoids, there's another dip with the immune system, up to 40% in some of the studies that I've read. So up to 40% of a dip in your body's ability to protect you, your body's ability to heal from any sort of injury or surgery or disease. So it takes 2 hits. Your body takes 2 hits in terms of immunity when you trigger fight or flight. So if you're doing things afraid, if you're in constant anxiety, if you're stressed, you're causing your body to be primed for illness, primed for things that aren't so good for it to happen. So what's really, really cool about the pressure-free method is you start to gain control over the releases of those hormones that cause us to be in those vulnerable states. Vulnerable both mentally and vulnerable physically. So when you can prevent the first flood of hormones, the second flood won't go out. Let's take the example again of public speaking. So maybe you're going on a Zoom call to have a sales negotiation take place, or whatever it is you do in your business, whatever it is that you're trying to make happen in your life. So you're going on a Zoom call, and about an hour before, you start to get a little jittery. What you want to start to take a look for is the moment that you're starting to feel that jitteriness, the moment that your palms are starting to get just the tiniest bit little sweaty. If you can start to notice that maybe you're a nail biter or a pen chewer, like you've taken the pen and you're about to go for it, that's a beautiful, if you do it, it's beautiful because it's a sign you're starting to get a little anxious, a little nervous. Notice what your little signs are. Maybe your jaw clenches. Maybe you get tight in the forehead. Notice the little things that start to take place when the tension is starting to come in. When you notice that, that is the magic moment. When you notice it, if you're public speaking, I have my clients go directly to their abs. Place your hands on your belly and relax your abs. The moment you do that, it's a neuroscience trick. It tells your brain you're not under attack. Because if you really were under physical attack, you're going to tighten the whole front of your body, including your neck, and you're going to be in a space where you're protecting yourself. By the way, if you're in that space, your sales call is not going to be the best it could be. Because when you're in that protective space, you're basically repelling people from you. So it's so super cool when you can start to relax your abs, relax the front of your body, and be in a space that actually attracts people to you instead of repelling. Fear repels. Stress repels. I remember a study in Germany. They did a study in Germany for single men who were looking to date. And they did this study in a bar, and they measured the amount of stress hormones of each one of the subjects as it pertained to be in a social situation trying to meet new people. And the people who had released the fight or flight stress response had a very difficult time attracting anybody to speak with them. So stress, fear, it's going to repel when you're trying to attract. So I think it's really cool when you can start to understand what this is all about. Yes, you can move into a slight athletic heart rate when you're about to take the stage. You're energized, you're ready to go. However, if you go too high and trigger fight or flight, your hands are going to be sweaty. Your pits are going to be sweaty. You're going to have a dry mouth. You're going to get a little jittery. You might look weird on stage because you're like hopping around too much. So there's a difference between being energized and being adrenalized. In fact, that's a quote I'm going to put up today. There's a huge difference in being energized rather than being adrenalized. Are you running on adrenaline? You got to have this come to reality moment where you say, oh, wow, I've been doing this. So watch for the little triggers. See if you can protect yourself. The next time you have to do something scary, See if you can protect yourself from going into fight or flight. It's going to boost your immune system. It's going to boost your cognitive ability, and your whole body is going to say thank you. So I hope you have a great pressure-free day. Sorry for that earlier interruption. But sometimes you just got to do what you got to do. Have a great day. Bye.